Welcome to VSB News Online for Wednesday, November 19th. I'm Peter Cattell. Opposition Senate leader Diallo Rabane expressed his party's concern in the upper house today about the aerial sands groundbreaking that wasn't, the alleged poor reputation of the Canadian Commercial Corporation, and the unsavory rumors about the proposed developers of the former Club Med. He got short shrift from government leader Senator Michael Fay.
No one is saying that we don't think that aerial sands will commence with work at some point. What we're saying is they're nowhere near commencing with work at any time soon. And so until that point, you're not breaking ground.
Or giving jobs.
Or giving jobs. You're just demolishing buildings.
Now, the point made about the Canadian group, the corporation, having been blackballed by the World Bank, that was a shocker. Is it true?
Well, I can only go, I can go with the information that was passed on to me. And unfortunately, I was off island during the debate. But the information passed on me by our shadow transport minister is that this company is not that reputable of a company. And I'll just leave it at that, Brian. And what we're pointing out is, again, here we are, a party that campaigned on transparency is awarding a $200 million contract that will effectively privatize one of the few money-generating entities that our government has. And anyone sits back and, until you explain that, why you're going to do that, and explain why you chose this guy, why you didn't have an open tendering process, why you didn't inform the people that you were doing it, if it looks like a duck, walks like a duck, it probably is a duck. And something just doesn't sit well with this deal.
They've given us that understanding that is what they intend to do. It is not unreasonable in any way for someone to submit a planning application in a final form after they've demolished a site or during the demolition of a site. It happens all the time.
There's also sniping going on about, I think, the World Bank blackballing the Canadian commercial entity. That was put to bed very quickly.
Yes, it has been. I think the Minister of Finance has been very clear indeed in relation to why CCC is the way to go in respect of this project. For the procurement process alone, if you went through some more of a kind of a more regular procurement process, it would cost the taxpayers millions upon millions of dollars in consultants. CCC is a very fine corporation. They've given certain guarantees in respect of getting this thing done on time and on budget, and that's incredibly important, obviously, for them and for us as well.
And also the fact that Club Med was in fact demolished, but nothing has ever happened. There again, they were starting to cast aspersions at the creditworthiness or the propriety of the man in charge of the firm down south.
I think anybody who is involved in any form of large development as a corporation or entity is going to have accusations made against them. And the Minister of Tourism Development and Transport has been very clear in his submissions as to what exactly that particular dispute is about. The underlying issue is this. Let's not scare away the very people who are trying to bring development and job opportunities for Bermudians. I find it amazing that that's what we'd spend our time sniping about, when in fact these people have gone through due diligence, they've been looked at, they've been verified. Let's give them the opportunity to prove themselves.
It does not appear to be widely known that the Progressive Labour Party government was well embarked on a plan to build a new airport. In fact, it was confirmed by the current Finance Minister, Bob Richards, that the previous government spent the sum of $850,000 for a set of plans. Given that the opposition criticized the new airport scheme, VSB's Charles Webb asked the leader, Mark Bean, for clarification.
We agree that our airport needs to be upgraded, and that upgrade was initiated under Progressive Labour Party government. The question was the fiscal constraints in terms of being able to get the financing in place without adding to the debt of our balance sheet, right? And so it's something that in time, if we are a government and the opportunity arose, we are to continue to explore ways to get the financing. The challenge is not the fact that we need a new airport. The challenge is the fact that we have engaged without transparency which leads to no accountability, a shadowy crown corporation of the Canadian government, who have a reputation of giving contracts to the select group. I guess people could say friends and family group. But one or two of these companies have been banned by the World Bank, right, because of corruptions and bribery. And so, of course, it's a cause of concern. It's not the fact that we need a new airport, it's how we're doing it. Why can't the Minister of Finance, who I'm actually surprised, because I expect that behavior, I've seen that behavior with other ministers of cabinet, but I would have thought that the Minister of Finance would have been a little bit more circumspect. He would have came out with a rationale to say, listen, this is where we're at, and it's fully transparent. In fact, we're getting the complete opposite. And that's a cause of concern when you see Minister of Finance Bob Richards taking that approach. I really can't say what's really pushing it. I don't understand the background of that type of action, but it is a concern to us, most definitely.
5 years ago, the PLP, then in government, proposed the introduction of reverse mortgages to help land-rich but cash-poor seniors to survive. This year, when the OBA suggested the same thing in their throne speech, PLP leader Mark Bean claimed it was a wolf in sheep's clothing, all of which surprised Senate leader Michael Fay when the Senate debated the throne speech today, and was answered by opposition Senate leader Diallo Rabane.
I find it very surprising indeed that the opposition would be seemingly very against a proposal that will free up and allow individuals who are, as the phrase goes, land rich and cash poor to get some equity out of their home and support themselves going forward into old age. There was a minister, the Minister of Culture and Social Rehabilitation, Dale Butler, floated the idea back in 2009. Age Concern has always been in support of this initiative, as far as I can tell. And we should be embracing these types of ideas. Seems to me the issue of reverse mortgage is an issue that is being disputed simply for the purpose of disputing.
Reverse mortgages is going to create a debt burden for your the people who leave the property to. And what does that do? I mean, if you go back to the 70s and 60s when properties were being taken away because inheritors couldn't pay death tax and all of that stuff, we're kind of, in my opinion, we're kind of moving back into that type of arena. If you got to remortgage your property at the near end of your life again, because your children can't adequately support you or they're not supporting you adequately, what does that mean? You run the real risk of, when you do go on to your glory, losing your hard-earned property anyway. Do you want to risk that? And if we are serious about promoting a family-first community where we're all helping each other, we should be first encouraging and saying, hey, you need to get your children, you need to get their children or whoever to come in and assist with you. Bring back that family environment first and foremost before we start talking about creating more public debt and the potential of then losing homes because of that public debt.
While the mystery as to why it took last night's by-election team 2 hours to count less than 800 votes, there was no mystery about the result. A clear 130-vote win by well-known politician Jamal Simmons. Congratulations have been extended today by the PLP and by the Senate, but nothing could compare with the outpouring of emotion that greeted the news last night when, at long last, the doors of the polling station were flung open and the winner named.
To enunciate the winner, Jamal Simmons.
one of my constituents who came out.
Your mom's behind you. Your mom's behind you.
Hey, Mumsy.
One of my constituents who came out today, a famous radio announcer many people know, he had a unique catchphrase. He used to say, "And I'm back." First, I'd like to give thanks to God, to whom all is due. But the victory is not mine. It is the people of Constituency 33. And it is for the hard work of the team of the PLP of Constituency 33 and all the people who came from across the island to help us. Thank you. Thank you. Today, we hit the ground running and start working because the people deserve a working representative and they deserve a voice that will fight for our people.
All right.
For Bermuda that works for who? Bermuda! PLP? All the way! All the way? PLP! Thank you!
Right. Well, I do think I've been successful tonight. I have, participated in the democratic process. I congratulate Mr. Simmons and wish him all the best, and I look forward to all his hard work in our constituency.
Will this be the last time we see you interview?
Oh, well, it remains to be seen. We'll see. We'll see. But thank you all, and thank you to the constituents who voted for me. Thank you.
And we'll be right back after this.
The Marketplace Food Court is you and your family's one-stop shop. Start your day at the Breakfast Bar with omelets made to order and traditional Bermuda codfish breakfast. The chefs will cook lunch and dinner to your liking. Along with the salad bar, sandwich bar, sushi bar, and fruit bar, the Marketplace Food Court is your kitchen away from home. Every day is hassle-free with nutritious meals from the Marketplace Food Court. Visit us 7 days a week. Homemade cooking, quality service, all at prices you can count on.
There will be a new president of the Bermuda Court of Appeal next year. This according to a statement from Government House. Charles Webb has the details.
Sir Scott Baker, currently a justice in the court, will succeed outgoing President Justice Edward Sacker, who will be stepping down on the 31st of December. The governor, Mr. George Ferguson, said in the statement that he had accepted the recommendation of the Judicial and Legal Services Committee in appointing Sir Scott, whose appointment, he said, would permit Bermuda to continue to have world-class leadership of a world-class court. Sir Scott has been a member of the Bermuda Court of Appeal since March 2011, having been appointed a High Court judge in England in 1988. He was lead judge in the Administrative Court in 2000. In 2002, he became a Lord Justice of the Court of Appeal of England and Wales. With the appointments to the court earlier this year of Sir Maurice Kay and Justice Patricia Dango, Mr. Ferguson said the court is very well equipped to give the community and commerce of Bermuda the high quality of justice which Bermuda needs and deserves. For VSB News, I'm Charles Webb.
Although the number of fatal accidents on Bermuda's roads has reached 12, with 2 months of statistics still to go, the year of 2014 is actually turning out to be safer than previous years. For example, the first 10 months have seen 1,211 road collisions compared with 1,458 in 2013, and as a result, the number of people injured has fallen from 805 to 725, with serious injuries down from 117 to 107. One interesting trend is that while all other forms of vehicles involved in accidents are down, trucks are way up, with the number rising from 19 in the first 10 months of 2013 to 33 so far this year. Having reached the hardest part of its drive to raise $40 million towards the cost of the new acute care wing, that is, the last $9 million, the Bermuda Hospital Charitable Trust is studying how other communities in North America have financed their new hospital facilities. And Executive Director Ralph Richardson says a number of good ideas have been forthcoming. Until they materialize, he is asking residents to consider donating a legacy brick, making a donation, or selecting an item of equipment that suits their personal circumstances.
How did the other idea go when people could pay a certain amount of money for a certain need?
Well, I must say I'm going to have to give you, Brian, credit for that. I think your idea to give people the opportunity to support something they could afford rather than, we talked about the large major gifts, but we actually had to give the equivalent of a program where people gave the equivalent of, the smallest was $50 for an IV stand, a walker was $200, and an industrial wheelchair was $300, and people actually chose those numbers. And if you go down the list of gifts, you'll see quite a few at $50, quite a few at $200, and quite a few at $500 or $300, because they were associated with one of those items. And people did enjoy it. In fact, one lady called up, I remember the day we had the telethon, she said, I can't afford $1,000, but I can afford $50. And she said, I want to give $50, the equivalent of an IV stand.
That was the whole point.
Absolutely.
So from here for you, where do we go?
Well, from here we are first of all, we're going to complete the capital campaign. So we're going to continue it a little while because people are still giving. We had a significant gift pledged just this week, and people are still buying bricks. And someone just walked in with the cash gift today into the office. So people are still giving. And I think one of the messages we want to get out there is that the capital campaign is short, and we are still raising money. And if anybody who has not had the opportunity to be a partner to date can still do so.
And now we turn to Earl Basden, all the way from the Central American and Caribbean Games in Veracruz, Mexico, for today's Sports Report.
Welcome to VSB Sports. I'm Earl Basden reporting from Veracruz, Mexico. Julian Fletcher returned to action in Veracruz, Mexico as the 22nd Central American and Caribbean Games continued, and he reached the B final after finishing 6th in the men's 50-meter breaststroke preliminaries. In the final, Fletcher recorded a faster preliminary time of 29:45 on his way to finishing 3rd. Earlier in the day, Fletcher took to the pool to compete in the men's 50-meter breaststroke Heat 1, where he touched the wall in a time of 30:49. In FA Challenge Cup preliminary football action last evening, Corona League teams had a good night. At the Devonshire Recreation Club, Ricardo Ponte gave Tough Dogs from the Corona League a 1-0 lead in the 12th minute, but Raymond Burgess equalized for First Division outfit Young Men's Social Club in the 50th minute as the two teams played to a 1-1 draw and will have to play a replay to determine a winner. At the BAA field, after picking up their first win of the season in the Corona League, BNV United recorded yet another victory, this time against First Division outfit BAA. BNV United got a hat-trick from LaShawn Dill and 2 strikes from Joshua Crockwell as they defeated BAA 5-1. Laquan Thomas scored the lone goal for BAA. Earlier in the day, the Bermuda Football Association's Competitions Committee hosted the Friendship and Shield draws inside their boardroom. On Thursday, November 27th, at the BAA field, the Shield preliminary match will feature BAA against the Boulevard Blazers. The Friendship preliminary match on the same day at 9 p.m. will feature PHC Zebras against Hamilton Parish. On Thursday, December 4th, at the Devonshire Recreation Club, the Shield preliminary match will see Somerset Eagles and Paget Lions take to the field at 7 p.m. The 9 p.m. Friendship preliminary match will feature the Devonshire Cougars and the North Village Rams. On Sunday, December the 14th, the Shield quarterfinals will be staged with kickoff at 12 noon. Crossroads will take on the winners of Somerset Eagles and Paget Lions at the BAA field. Island Rangers will entertain Young Men's Social Club at the Somerset Cricket Club. Devonshire Colts will take on Wolves at either Devonshire Recreation Club or Bernard Park, while St. David's will take on the winners of BAA and the Boulevard Blazers at St. John's Field. The Friendship quarterfinals will see Robin Hood take on Flanagan's Onions at the BAA field. Somerset Trojans will entertain Southampton Rangers at the Somerset Cricket Club. The winners of Devonshire Cougars and the North Village Rams will face off against the winners of PHC and Hamilton Parish at either the Devonshire Recreation Club or Bernard Park. The Dannytown Hornets are at home St. John's Field to the St. George's Colts. As we reported back on November 13th, Jamal and St. Wally Woolwich have put the final touches on their preparation for the upcoming 7th Sanda World Cup in Indonesia. The pair, along with President of the Bermuda Sandshell Association, Garen Wilkinson, departed Bermuda to begin their long journey. St. Wally Woolwich gives us an update from Indonesia.
At the moment, we will wait 9 hours until the weigh-in. So as of now, there is no eating, no drinking, just relaxing. And actually, I lost 13 pounds, so it's been pretty good. I have had tougher weight cuts. In Indonesia right now, it's nice and hot, humid. So we've been doing a lot of running, a lot of gym work, and sauna. And I honestly feel pretty good. 48 hours beforehand, I had a lot of water intake. So right now my body is pretty hydrated, so I feel pretty good and ready to go.
Jillian Teixeira and Tyler Lopes continue competing in their first indoor competition of the season, competing in Belgium. On day 2, Lopes and Navantas competed in the 1.10 meter Table A in 2 phases against the clock class, where they finished 6th, clocking a clear first round time of 44.72, and then they recorded a second round time of 34.65, but they had 4 penalty fault points. Teixeira and Chikera, competing in the 1.30 meter Table A against the clock class, finished 87th, clocking a time of 76.32, but they had 16 penalty fault points. Teixeira and Amarula competed in the 1.40 meter Table A against the clock class, finishing 64th, clocking a time of 70.02, and they had 9 penalty fault points. In commercial league building action at the Warwick Lanes, it saw the Spinners defeat the Superstars 4-0, Sweet Life defeated the Braves 3-1, Guard Do It Best defeated the Alley Pals 3-1, while BTC got by the Sunset 3-1. Team Unsponsored defeated Double Trouble 3-1, and the game between Live Wires and the BPS Blue Lanterns ended 2-2. I'm Earl Basden reporting from Veracruz, Mexico for VSB Sports.
Thanks for watching VSB News Online for Wednesday, November 19th. I'm Peter Kitzel.